What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another New York Football Giants video here on Big Blue Avenue. In this video, we're going to discuss more coaching staff additions. Now, the Giants announced today the addition of 2 linebackers coaches, an offensive assistant, and 2 other transactions I'm going to touch upon. Before I get any further, I want to thank everybody who's been watching all of our videos on our YouTube channel. If you'd like to continue to do so, we're going to be putting out exclusive content on YouTube throughout the course of the off season. Check us out on our YouTube channel, Big Blue Avenue, Twitter, Big Blue Avenue, and Instagram also at Big Blue Avenue. Really appreciate all the support. This is not possible without the support of all of you guys and gals. So I really do appreciate you all taking the time out of your day. But, man, the Giants are wasting no time. Credit to Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll for putting this coaching staff together. Giants hire John Egorugwu as their inside linebackers coach officially today. 35 years old. This guy has both collegiate and NFL coaching experience. And to dive into him a little bit, he spent this past season as the linebackers coach over at Vanderbilt. But before that, he was with the Buffalo Bills for 4 seasons from 2017 to 2020. And why is that relevant to this conversation? Well, he helped develop Matt Milano, who was drafted in 2017. Tremaine Edmonds was drafted a year or 2 later. So those 2 linebackers have been with the Bills for a while, and they've turned out to be real nice players for them. They're 2 of their 3 starting linebackers. So I think the biggest problem the Giants have had over the past decade plus, really since Antonio Pierce, and I know we have Blake Martinez now, but the Giants haven't been able to draft good inside linebackers. And I think with a new regime coming in, this is something you want to look at. So I think this could be a good hire. He was a defensive quality control coach and assistant linebackers coach while working under Daboll with the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, Daboll joined the Bills in 2018. So they worked together, not really. Daboll, offensive coordinator, Egorugwu, the inside linebackers coach for the Bills. So actually the linebackers coach, because the Bills run a different defensive scheme than the Giants do. But he first coached in the NFL as the Baltimore Ravens defensive assistant from 2015 to 2016, primarily with the linebackers. So not only does Egorugwu have experience coaching with Daboll, he even has experience coaching with our new defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale. So right there, he killed 2 birds with 1 stone. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how Egorugwu hopefully turns this linebacking core around. A lot of people thought Rob Ryan would be the guy. Well, Rob Ryan wound up signing with the Las Vegas Raiders as a senior defensive assistant. So he will not be returning. He'll be working under our former defensive coordinator in Patrick Graham out in Vegas. So best of luck to Rob Ryan and Patrick Graham. And I'm happy Egorugwu is now an assistant coach for the Giants on the defensive side of the ball. If you have any questions on him, feel free to drop those in the comments section. Next up, this hire I've expected since the second they hired Martindale. Drew Wilkins is the new outside linebackers coach. Obviously, in 2020, when Joe Judge was hired head coach, they went after Brett Bielema. Ended up doing so well, turning Carter Coughlin and Jabal Sheard into respectable pass rushers under Patrick Graham, and Brett Bielema got a head coaching job at the University of Illinois. So Drew Wilkins is a guy who has experience coaching under Wink Martindale, spent 12 seasons with the Baltimore Ravens franchise, the last 10 with Martindale. So he's been with Baltimore, or was with Baltimore, longer than Martindale, and he spent the last 2 as the outside linebackers coach. Obviously, rookie Owe from Penn State this season turned out to be a decent player for them, working with other edge rushers. Matt Judon was there for a little bit. Now, Drew Wilkins' resume, he pretty much started from the bottom. He was a football video operations intern for 2 years before becoming a video coordinator for the Ravens in 2012. Then he was a defensive assistant from 2014 to 2016 and promoted to the assistant defensive line coach in 2017 before being named the outside linebackers coach in 2020. So he's worked on several different phases of the defense. He's also worked under James Franklin, Penn State's head coach, while they were both at Maryland. So he has collegiate experience as well I believe Drew Wilkins did attend Maryland for college. So, that's a little fun fact about him there. So I'm excited to have Drew Wilkins aboard. The Giants outside linebacker edge rushing group needs improvement heading into the 2022 season. So if you have any questions on Drew Wilkins, of course, we'd happy to answer them in the comments section as well. But moving on, Giants hire an offensive assistant in Christian Jones. This guy spent the last 3 seasons with the Minnesota Vikings. He was their offensive quality control coach for 2 years before being named the assistant wide receivers coach in 2021. So Jones is working his way up the ladder just a little bit, and he began his coaching career very recently. In 2017, he was an offensive intern at his alma mater, Northwestern. So he has worked his way up the chain very quickly. This is a young guy with a promising resume. Not saying he's going to be helping us find answers on our offense, but there is a good young intellectual mind there in Christian Jones coming over from the Vikings. The Giants have now brought over 2 assistants from the Vikings, Andre Patterson as the defensive line coach, Christian Jones as an offensive assistant. Other news, 2 other additions. The Giants, you all may know the name Ryan Hollern, formerly the chief of staff for the coaching staff, has now moved to player personnel department as a college scouting coordinator. And the Giants hired Mark Loscher as the assistant strength and conditioning coach. You may remember him. He's a former 8-year NFL veteran. He was the Broncos' assistant strength and conditioning coach in 2021. Broncos, one of the healthier teams in the National Football League last year. And Loscher was also the strength and conditioning assistant for the Steelers in 2020. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, health has been an issue for the Giants. You want to make sure all your players are good to go come the offseason and limit the injuries. Injuries are unavoidable in the National Football League, but the Giants were, by the end of the season in 2021, the most injury-plagued team, even more than the Baltimore Ravens. So you don't want to have a repeat of that in 2022. A lot of it has to do with the players and the hits that they're taking, but a lot of it also has to do with schematics and coaching, if you really break it down. So this Mark Loscher hire could be very important as we move along towards the course of the offseason when these players start going back into the building, working out, this and that. Obviously, we know Daniel Jones has had a big injury history, Saquon Barkley as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So John Egorugwu, Drew Wilkins added to the defensive coaching staff, Christian Jones, an offensive assistant, Ryan Burns, Mark Loscher, the new assistant strength and conditioning coach. If you like what you watch, make sure to give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, scrolling across the ticker below at Big Blue Avenue. We'd love to hear your comments. What do you think of these coaching staff additions for the New York Giants? Did Dable and Shane nail it? Do you think you would have gone differently in some regards? I want to hear what you guys think in the comments section. I want to thank you all again so much for watching this video and hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Without further ado, let's go Big Blue.